Hello and welcome. Chris from Missouri here, bringing you another video about vintage baseball cards. In this video, I'm going to show you a few cards. Matter of fact, a few of my favorite cards, but I'm also going to kind of use you guys as therapists as I talk about this because something happened today that I think I should have been more excited about because something similar happened a couple of years ago, and when it happened, in my mind, I felt like trumpets started playing and confetti started to be thrown and angels started singing, and I was so excited about it. Well, today I just didn't get that same feeling, and I'm going to see if you guys kind of would go along with me on this. See, it all starts like this. A few years ago, my wife introduced me to YouTube, and she was telling me about how I could watch other baseball collectors talk about collecting baseball on YouTube. And man, I did not know then, neither did she, that she was going to start a firestorm in my collecting world, in my hobby that I enjoyed so much, and it kind of put everything on steroids in my hobby. But so when she introduced me to YouTube, one of the first channels and that I got to watch was Baseball Collector, and his name is Mike, and almost everybody watching this watches his channel, and then by watching a ton of his stuff, I kept watching more and more of his stuff. I was introduced to Ray from Philly in the same way, and it just keeps going. Dave, Blue Jacket 66, and Eric, those back pages, and John Mangini, and man, just on and on and on. And I was just overwhelmed. But by watching Mike's channel, Baseball Collector, I noticed that he and I, our collections were similar, similar players that we were going after. And he and Ray talked about collecting the post-war rookie Hall of Famers. And before I even got on YouTube, I considered myself a rookie baseball card collector. And they introduced me to what is called the PSA set registry, and you know, that's, to me, I don't collect the PSA set registry. It's basically a bunch of different categories for people to collect and people to join this, and they also see how their collection stacks up to other people's collection. And it's kind of a competitive thing, and I think it could be a rabbit hole that man, you just didn't want to jump down. And I didn't collect just PSA cards. I collected cards and sent them off to SGC and stuff. So, but I now, by listening to them talk, I use that PSA set registry as a guide to my collection, even though I'm not on there. But I noticed that they were collecting this stuff, and I thought, you know, I have these cards too. So I printed off the PSA set registry checklist, and I had, at that time that I got on there, I think there might have been like 103 or 105. And at that time, I think I had 90 cards. I mean, I had a lot of them, and I don't really remember now for sure because I wasn't on YouTube then to chronicle that. But I remember getting in a conversation with Mike and telling him, introducing myself and telling him that I collect that too, and he, you know, at that time I think he was 100 and some on the registry or whatever. That doesn't matter. And he was telling me about Ray, and I think Eric, those back pages, does this as well. But I remember every time I picked up a rookie card, how excited I was. I was just excited, whether I didn't care the grade or whatever, but I had the card, and I was trying to complete this checklist. And I wasn't on YouTube at the time, but I was watching YouTube. And so when Mike picked up something or Ray picked up something, I celebrated with them. And I remember how I felt as I started getting close to finishing. I had like 102 cards, and understand this post-war Rookie Hall of Fame set registry changes every year that somebody else gets put into the Hall of Fame. And so I would keep up with the newcomers. Usually either I already had the card or it wasn't too hard of a card for me to pick up when somebody became a member. But I remember I was down to three of the biggest cards on the set registry. And, I already had my rookie mantle card and didn't need that, but I was down to three cards. And I remember Mike shooting a video at the Chicago National, and I hadn't been on YouTube yet, and he was talking. He hadn't picked it up, but he had a friend that was picking it up, and it might have been, I don't know who it was for sure. Micah, correct me someday when he sees this video, but they were talking about a Willie Mays rookie card, and I remember I picked this up at the 21 National. Let me turn this around. And I picked up this beautiful card, and it's a 1 because there's a pinhole in it. But I remember how I felt then. It wasn't like I completed the set, but I got one big card, and that meant there was two to go. One card down, 2 to go. And then the following year, after picking up that big card, there were some other guys elected to the Hall of Fame, and I picked those cards up. And it wasn't very hard, but I remember I still had the two big cards left and didn't know how I'd get this. But I then started YouTube in October of 22, I believe. Yes, October of 22. Well, right before I started YouTube, they had the Strongsville All Vintage show. And I picked this card up from Stan. Now look at this card. I was pretty excited. So that meant, look at those two cards right there. Let me get Bobby Witt out of the way. And look at those two cards right there. So 2 big ones down and 1 to go. So in October of the same year, I was on a roll, 1 big card, and I got a call from my buddy Carson. And Carson said that he got this card and he was willing to trade for it. And I had to trade a lot of stuff for it. But I got this card right here. Short print Hal Newhouser rookie card. So boom, all big cards off. And I remember getting that card from Carson and trying to act like an adult the rest of the show. I just felt mission accomplished. I got them, and man. And I was pretty excited because I knew at that time there was only like 6 people, maybe 7, that was on the PSA set registry that had all the cards. And I was super, super, super excited. And since that time, there's been other people nominated to the Hall of Fame. I'm going to compare the first one that I picked up. Now, David Ortiz got put in the Hall of Fame. Now, I finally picked up the correct one. But compare those two together. Now, the reason I do this is when you look at these cards, let's do this one. Compare those two together. When you look at these cards, after I got this one, there was one card to pick up, and that was at Ortiz, and I got it. I should have been just as excited about that than this card, but I wasn't. Then came Adrian Beltre, which I have right here. And then came Scott Rowland. But today came in the mail. I was one card shy because of all the new stuff, all the new players getting in. So I was one card shy, just like before when I got the Leaf Hal Newhouser. I picked up this card right here today. And that's the Joe Mauer. Now that's a pretty card. But at one time, I needed this card here. Now compare those two to the Satchel Paige. Now what I'm trying to get at is I picked up that Joe Mauer, and it completed my post-war rookie Hall of Fame set run again. And it feels a little ho-hum compared to picking up that Satchel Paige card or that Willie Mays card or that Hal Newhouser card. And I know it's in here in my head that I'm a vintage card collector. But I feel like every time I finish a player run, I'm excited. I am happy. I mean, when I finished the Al Kaline run, I was excited. When I finished the bench run and the Brett run and stuff like that, so excitement picking up, a 1994 George Brett. I was excited about it, finishing that run. But for some reason, since this run keeps changing, the cards don't excite me near as much. And I wish it did. Maybe it will again. Maybe it will again. But I am excited about having this run, and I'm excited about all the cards in the run. There's 118 post-war rookie Hall of Fame players. 100 are cards. There's 119, but there's 118 cards made. And I know some of you that are watching this have told me that you too are trying to do the Hall of Fame run. Like I have a buddy, Tyler, that just started it maybe a little over a year ago, and he's on the verge of finishing it. And I'm going to be so excited for him. But it's going to change. My excitement seems to be kind of squashed a little bit because I've already achieved it once, and now I've achieved it twice. And at the end of next year, hopefully more Hall of Famers get in, and I'll achieve it the third time. But it doesn't. Picking up that Joe Mauer card, I picked it up in an 8. It's not a valuable card. I could have picked it up in a 10. It's still kind of affordable, $300, $400 card. But, I got that Joe Mauer card and didn't spend near as much money on it. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But, guys, YouTube has been fun for me. I would have collected post-war rookie Hall of Famers without YouTube, but I would not be able to share in my excitement and other people's excitement if it wasn't for this community. And to the old timers, you know who you are, that collect this set and talk about post-war rookie Hall of Famers. I appreciate your content. And guys, those of you that are watching this and have been keeping track with my collection, I appreciate the comments and stuff that you make and you guys rooting for me to get it. And guys, remember, it's just a hobby. Collect what you like.